So, if you've been watching my Twitch channel, you have probably seen me trying out different random games on Xbox, and one of my favorites has been this one I found called Nowhere Prophet. It was released in 2019, and basically you find yourself as a leader of a band of misfits trying to find a crashed satellite in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Each time you play, there's a brand new procedurally generated map with new locations, new points of interest, and even new random events each time you play. So no two journeys are alike. It's honestly been a whole lot of fun because I'm used to the very scripted type of management games where you try to beat something and maybe you know what's coming up, you know what to expect, and you can prepare for it. With Nowhere Prophet, there really is no way to prepare for what's coming next. And that's really one of the things that separates it from typical deck builder games like Gwent, and then some other kind of strategy management survival games like Oregon Trail. The 5th edition, not the 1st edition. This game has a lot of options for different play styles. You can select different decks, you can select different prophets, which is who you play as, and it really does give you flexibility to play as different classes and with different roles depending on how you best could survive. You also are having to manage hope, and you're having to manage food and the rest of your group of followers as you navigate through these different random maps. So it really does affect the choices that you make early on, whether or not you're going to even survive past the first map. And that's kind of what I wanted to throw at you today, was some tips to survive the first map, because I find that this first map, this first section of the game, will either make or break your journey down the rest of it. It should be known that this game is extremely unforgiving. There are not a lot of second chances with this game, so whatever choices you make are going to have repercussions. My first piece of advice is to play Lawful neutral through the first map. Nowhere Prophet seems to reward general benevolence and justice choices, while also rewarding you for taking some lawful choices by helping people in need and by eliminating enemies and showing little mercy. So when you have the opportunity to really stomp your enemies, to pursue them if they're fleeing, go ahead and do that. Show no mercy. Be all about justice if you can, but also realize that the benefits of doing that are going to be great, because you're going to have new followers that come. Often people will reward you for doing the right thing, but just assume everything's a trap. When you start playing, it's going to seem like healing is going to be readily available. It's not, and especially through the first portion of the map, your followers are going to get injured, they're going to die, and you're not going to have camps that are quote-unquote safe enough to heal. So just pretend like you can't heal for the first map. Don't rely on it, don't count on it. Third, more than likely, if you have a specialized deck, you're going to need to hire more followers, especially as you advance and your followers die. Yes, your followers are going to die. As much as you might want to be heroic and keep them alive, as much as you might want to heal them, you probably should save that for some specialty cards if you're going to be doing some plays or building a certain deck. More than likely, you are going to be relying on the cannon fodder that is recruiting followers from the various cities and towns. So, as you're planning your route through these procedurally generated maps, take into account that if you lose a large number of players getting to a town, more than likely, if you have the money, you'll be able to buy new followers. So, as terrible as it may sound, use them. That's what they're there for. Some of them are arrow fodder. Some of them are meant to die. Use them. As you acquire loot, you'll find that some gives you a hope advantage. It can get you a lot of money too, but don't sell it. Hope is hard to come by. And last, but certainly not least, don't be afraid to just attack the enemy leader, even if it comes at the expense of your followers' health or even losing a few followers. Oftentimes, this game is so unforgiving that certain cards and abilities will injure everybody. So, if that is the case, just go for the enemy leader. Someone's gonna die, someone's gonna get injured. It's pretty much okay. Just do it. And hopefully these 5 tips are enough to get you through the first stage, because after you go through that, there's 3 more increasingly harder stages with less and less forgiveness and no saves. So it means if you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. So hopefully that can help you out. I've had a lot of trouble getting past even stage 2 or 3. It's a big challenge. While we're on that note, I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite early game strategies, and it involves this one right here, the Shifty Scavenger, a 4 card, which means it takes 4 energy to play them, but they aren't that strong. But one thing they do have an advantage of is if you're playing aggressively and you're losing players back and forth, by using terrain and the front line mechanic to your advantage, you can actually build up the scavenger into a really powerful one-hit card. See what I've done here is I've put a weak character on the front line, knowing that they're going to get taken out, knowing that they're going to get hit. In addition, there's a mechanic in this game where you can basically make your character into a distraction, and then the enemy has to target them first before they can attack you, which means that while they're attacking them and destroying cards, both my cards and enemy cards make the scavenger stronger. So it means by the time they can actually reach me and get to me, when it's my turn, I can then reach out and strike with an incredibly strong character that wasn't that way to begin with, that's relying on my play style of playing aggressively and being willing to lose caravanners along the way. I'm going to keep playing this, but thank you so much for watching. Be sure you join me on Twitch, iJimothy. That's where you can find me playing either Red Dead, Apex, or random Xbox games. So thanks.